Hey, what's up, my optimal minds? Dr. LeGrand here, and today we're going to talk about fasting and how that can actually help improve brain power. But can it really do that? Because when we talk about fasting, a lot of people look at it for, I can lose weight on fasting, but let's talk about how it can actually help with the brain. So there's 5 areas where fasting can really help improve our brain power, our functionality of the brain, and so it's something you should definitely be considering when it comes to fasting and using it for more than just losing weight. The very first thing that fasting can do to help improve the brain functionality is it does increase levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factors, also known as BDNF. Now, what is BDNF? BDNF is known to help neurons in parts of the brain such as the hippocampus, the brain cortex, the basal forebrain, which are parts of the brain that help with learning, memory, and really high thinking level of cognition throughout our brain. Not only that, BDNF does help with the process of neurogenesis, and neurogenesis is helping building new cells in our brain, helping with cognition, memory. Can be a very important thing, especially when it can increase levels of BDNF. Not only that, we do see in situations where in Alzheimer's disease, we do see BDNF levels decrease. So it's important to increase those BDNF levels so you don't have to deal with dementia or Alzheimer's as we get older. The second way that fasting can benefit the brain is it does increase levels of ketones in our body because they go through a process of ketosis. You probably have heard of the keto diet. A lot of people go do the keto diet because they want to get a state of ketosis. Well, guess what? Fasting gets you there a lot faster. And if you can be in more of a ketosis state, it breaks down our ketone bodies. And one important ketone that is important to the brain is hydroxybutyrate, which is a neuroprotectant for the brain. So it's protecting all those neurons throughout our brain. And also, what is also important is having broken down using switching from sugar as fuel for the brain, using fat for fuel of the brain. You'll find that you are more focused and productive when you are starting to be in a state of ketosis, when you have adapted your body to do so. Which leads into my third thing of why fasting can improve brain functionality is that fasting can help you be more productive. Let me explain. So if we can switch our fuel source for the brain, such as being in a more using fat for fuel, which is more efficient for the brain versus sugar for fuel, and that's what happens in a fast state. But it also can help with productivity because eating food is sometimes a nuisance, especially if you have to eat breakfast and you gotta eat lunch, wondering where you should go eat lunch. All these things can be a problem, but if you can just skip those and be in a fasted state and just fast, you will find that not only will you save time, but they've seen in research when you're in a fasted state, especially when you have, maybe not initially, because when people are first adapting to doing fasting, they're like, I'm so hungry, and that's what they're thinking about. But when your body's finally adapted, where your body starts switching that fuel source, you are more productive, you are more efficient. They've seen this in a lot of different animal studies where not only are they more able to be more task oriented and to be able to complete memory tasks, but also they have found even in mice where they had more endurance when they were in a fasted state. And the fourth reason of why fasting can really help improve the brain is fasting does help with blood sugar level imbalances. So a lot of us can be really sugar sensitive because sugar seems to be in all ingredients of all types of foods and packaged foods, and therefore we become insulin resistant, which this really makes an issue with our blood sugar imbalances. When we have blood sugar imbalances, it really does mess with our focus and it can cause more brain fog, so therefore we're not going to be productive. What fasting does is it does help eliminate the situation of insulin resistance where you become more sensitive to be able to sensitize those insulin capacity pathways. So therefore you can balance your blood sugar levels so you have consistent focus and energy throughout the day versus having a situation where you hit crashes, highs, and lows up and down. The fifth way why fasting can really benefit the brain is autophagy. Now, if you're not familiar with the term autophagy, it means self-eating. You might be wondering, self-eating, why would I want to be self-eating my body? Well, what it's doing is it is self-eating the dying cells throughout our body. Now, they have found this through a Nobel Prize where actually through a fasted state, it increases the autophagy levels 400%. And when that is important throughout the body, but also more importantly, the brain, it's getting rid of all those dying cells. And it creates room for when you do refeed, especially when you refeed properly, is to increase stem cells. Because fasting does increase stem cells, so therefore it's going to increase neurogenesis, creating new cells, brain cells, connections, and neurons, which ultimately leads where fasting can help increase in the growth of new brain cells throughout the brain. These are all amazing benefits that you can improve your brain, something that I have used on a regular basis that helps me stay focused. But the important thing is knowing how to do fasting for the brain and also what is the wrong way of doing it. I've seen this a problem time and time again. So you should be watching this video right here so you know what the right way and the wrong way of fasting for your brain. So watch this video right here and I'll see you in the inside.